Once again, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to World Combat Sports. What's good? Each and every one of you is Thursday. And guess what? You're looking at the thumbnail. The Muddy Flats MMA back in the building. Yes, sir. You know what's popping. Facts I'm dropping. MMA and boxing. I'm rolling. So let's get it rocking. Hey, it's about that time again, man. We got to talk about what's big in combat sports. First, I want to start off with the salute to the WCS supporters that's in the live chat that's pulling up and you fucking with the channel. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate all you do. Appreciate those who donate to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you choose to do so, you can. The Cash App is right here. Boom. We're gonna kick this right off, man. Some heavy fight cards is on the horizon. You know what I'm saying? I gotta talk about what's taking over, what's doing big things in combat sports. First and foremost, I want to bring into the conversation the second half of the buyout of the UFC. 1.75 billion. So I'm gonna basically get you spun up on the previous purchase, the partial purchase, right? So if you're looking at this screen right here, this is just a brief article on the previous buyout, which was 4 billion, right? So as it said, back in 2016, the Fertitta brothers shook up the MMA world with the news that they had sold the Ultimate Fighting Championship for a whopping 4.3 billion. 4.3 billion. The buyers represented several investment-oriented companies, with the majority stake going to the Williams Morris Endeavor Entertainment. Once again, that is important. The William Morris Endeavor Entertainment, also known simply as Endeavor, or WME IMG, talent agency. Two other investment groups, Kohlberg, Kravis Roberts, KKR, and Silver Lake, each took on a 22.9% share in the promotion. Hey, they doing business, right? They doing business, y'all. Big time. So as Endeavor attempt to hit the stock market with their second attempted IPO, however, it appears that a major part of their plan to make a successful launch this time around included full ownership of the UFC, because the first one was pretty much denied. You know when they go public, the shit is just on a whole nother level. So to that end, Sportico reports that Endeavor has reached an agreement to buy out their co-owners of the world. So they're doing big things, man. They're making a step to buy out the co-owners of this in this particular deal. It goes on to say, I put up the second half of this article. Give it time. At the time of their failed 2019 IPO, minority shareholders had the opportunity to spin off the UFC into its own IPO after Endeavor went public, something that would no longer be in play with this latest transfer of ownership. Sportico notes that Endeavor recently held a private placement, selling shares in the company to a pre-selected investor group, raising 1.768 billion in the process. I mean, it was some people at the table doing business. I mean, it was some shakers and movers in there. They really understand what they're getting into. They really understand, how big of a conglomerate this is going to be. This is a behemoth. The bulk of that money, 1.75 billion of it, will apparently go to buying up complete control of the UFC. That deal was reportedly finalized with the promotion back on February 16, but has just come to light with the agency's latest SEC filing ahead of their plan. Hold on. I don't know why I cut it off like that. They're planning IPO. So that was the article that just came out, basically, recognizing that the UFC further, is making moves in combat sports, and also when it comes down to other investors, taking note to invest in into this company, into this brand of the UFC. And the UFC is growing incredibly, large in a fast pace. And I just wish I would have got some stocks back in the UFC back then, when it was just Dana White and the Fertitta brothers. You know what I'm saying? I just watched that shit like grow in front of me. And still to this day, it would have been great to just have some stock in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But for a company who was just, regulated in the 90s, they were regulated in the 90s, right? To do stuff the correct way, to be able to be sanctioned and to put on organized combat sports bouts. It's risen quickly, to be honest. It's risen very quickly. I mean, I have to commend everyone who was a part of it. And I was having a conversation with some people that actually believe that Dana White and the Fertitta brothers were hurting for money and all this other stuff. No, the Fertitta brothers really didn't want to deal with it. They have other business ventures and that they deal with that's making them money. They just didn't want to stay involved in the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Dana White is still a primary player in the UFC. He's the face, really, of the UFC. So he's always going to be making money off this. He's always going to be making money. I mean, Dana White is a rich man, though. And that's one person who's basically went from carrying a certain athlete's damn luggage to now he's on top of the motherfucking world. So it comes down to this. Let me find this other article I can read to you. Hold on for a second. Let me see what was that article. I want to show you an article on let me see if this is it. Because this is big, man. Even Elon Musk. Let me see. Let me share this screen with you right quick. You have the Tesla. Hold on for a second. Yeah, Mr. Tesla himself, the guru himself, that's a part of this deal too, man. These guys are just exchanging money like you wouldn't believe. It's just amazing, man. I mean, they're constantly building. Alexander in the building. Salute to you, my brother. Salute. Check this out. Tesla guru Elon Musk is reportedly joining the board of Endeavor just as they are finalizing an agreement to buy out the UFC. According to sources close to the situation, Musk and Emmanuel have connections in common that include Durban, the co-CEO of private equity firm Silver Lake, which I mentioned earlier. Musk consulted Durban, who helped bankroll Michael Dell's buyout of his computer company when he was mulling the idea of taking Tesla private. At the time, Musk also spoke to Dell himself, according to the report from the Wall Street Journal. These guys are up here doing business, man. They're putting their money into another thriving interest that's on the mainstream. They're working together. You know what I'm saying? They're working together to just continue to make more money. Endeavor is preparing for a massive IPO. The company who owns, check this out, Miss Universe pageant and oversees WWE and IMG talent agencies. It seems unlike the UFC president Dana White will take issue with Elon Musk joining the Endeavor board of the acquisition, especially if the IPO is a big success. Actually, proceeds from said filing are expected to help fund the purchase. Does this mean anything for the UFC in terms of current operation procedures? Probably not. White has basically run the show since the Fertitta brothers sold their ownership stakes a few years back. He remains the point man. Dana White, look, Dana White is the point man and figurehead. Look at those two words of, leadership and authority. He's the point man and figurehead of the company. So you know damn well it'll be out their damn mind to take Dana White face away from, going out here talking to the people, being in front of the camera, knowing how every the flow of the UFC format works. You know what I'm saying? He pretty much has learned the game from the ground up. You're talking about a guy who was naive about MMA, period. A guy who knew nothing about running a company like this. And he's learned over the period of time. And it's evolved in something amazing, man, to watch the UFC grow. The good thing about this, purchase and everything, with them being able to, gain ownership of the final half, is the fact that you have individuals with money that's involved with this company, the UFC, this promotion. It's only going to grow from here. And then not only that, the UFC has changed their clothing sponsor, their outfit sponsor, right? It used to be Reebok. Now it's going to be Venom. So Venom, they make some quality fight gear. And the fight kits that the UFC is gonna put out next is coming out soon. They're gonna be fire. They're gonna be absolutely fire. And that's another thing that's changing too. They did away with Reebok. They're with Venom, and it's helping the fighters a little bit, with a pay raise, with their basic payout. Let me see. I know I had this on here, but it's going to help them with their basic payout and so forth prior to their previous Reebok payout. Now they're switching over to Venom. The fight kits are going to be much more higher quality, in my opinion, much more attractive to the fans of mixed martial arts. And it's just another attachment that the UFC is doing, man. Serious. I mean, if you're not sitting up here reporting, I heard somebody say the other day, on the channel, like, forget what the UFC, it's all about boxing. Well, guess what? Some of these boxers, when it all comes down to it, they might find themselves trying to be in mixed martial arts later on in life. You know what I'm saying? Because mixed martial arts, they pretty much don't frown upon fighters with multiple losses. All you have to do is somehow, some way in your career start to practice the multi dynamics of the striking game when it comes to, mixed martial arts. Practice all the multi facets. Just buckle down and understand it's going to be much difficult than a upper level striking with two hands versus using your feet, elbows, knees, head, all that. So anyway, congratulations to the UFC for their growth over time. It's just amazing to see this play out the way it has. I'm just mad because I actually saw everything come into place back then, following the UFC since the very first fight card, when it wasn't even public. It's just crazy how much money, for them to just sell a portion of it for $4 billion. It's just insane. I mean, pretty much for Tita Brothers, they have a collateral business. They're never going to go broke. Dana's never going to go broke. He's the face. Dana's going to pretty much be doing this for the next motherfucking 20 years, 25 years, easy. Because he knows the fighters, he knows the system now, he knows the entire format, the protocol, and he has a say-so and this, that, and the other. He's the face of the company. So whoever purchased it, those individuals, they're not going to remove Dana White as the face. He's pretty experienced now. He's pretty experienced. It's unbelievable. I mean, I have to do a grand salute to the UFC on how they're risen. But anyway, back to that. Yeah, I heard some people talking about, UFC, it's all about boxing. If you want to have that mentality not to ever train striking and mixed martial arts without understanding that there are some areas that MMA can teach boxers on fighting on the inside and how they move and everything. But I extended out there to the media outlets to start covering mixed martial arts just as much as you cover boxing. But it's difficult because with boxing, people can just look at something and they have two fists and a performance to grade. You know what I'm saying? They have the person, their two hands, and the performance to grade. With mixed martial arts, you have to know exactly what you're looking at. A lot of people truly don't understand outside of the stand-up striking game. They don't understand what are the titles to the strikes they're doing. It's so many strikes. And then when you go to the ground, what are they doing? What is that submission called? How to properly pronounce what is playing out in front of you. That's why a lot of people don't fuck with mixed martial arts. They just say it's a bunch of shit because they don't want to study up on how to be descriptive in what they're looking at. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Key Mitch in the building. Salute. What's good? Aaron Jones. Salute. This is a huge deal right here with Dana White. You know what I'm saying? Endeavor buys out UFC. Purchased the remaining portion of the 49.9%. So they had 50.1%, right? They had 50.1%, and they was able to the collective investors, including Tesla, Elon Musk, and some other names, got together and raised 1.76 billion. You know what I'm saying? That's how you work together. That's how you work together to make that money. You know what I'm saying? You have to use your money to make money. And that's just insane. So we're only going to see the UFC get that much better. Believe that. I'm telling you. And unfortunately, I really don't want to compare sports. But UFC is one of the top promotions, right? In mixed martial arts. It's not the only promotion. It's one of the top promotions. But this top promotion, you have multiple promotions in boxing, right? But we cannot say what promotion is competing with the UFC. If you look at it, it does get a little funny because you might have somebody say boxing versus the UFC when it's boxing and MMA, right? So when it comes to this promotion in the UFC, it's just one entity of mixed martial arts that happen to be at the highest pinnacle. But this one promotion in mixed martial arts is competing and putting on 15 bout cards people are going to be tuning into. So what I'm saying is boxing truly needs to, get their act together, man. Understand how fastly mixed martial arts is growing, not just in the UFC, but also in Bellator. And then, coming up PFL, there's plenty other mixed martial arts promotions that's fastly growing. We can't say that about boxing. It just seems like everybody is in the same nesting pool and they can't do anything without so-and-so's doing something and this, that, and the other. That's why, the UFC in a nutshell, which is a single entity, is going to continue to grow because they're not as wide open as the boxing promotions. So they're going to be able to give you quality fight cards. That's why you're seeing more people covering mixed martial arts. They won't tell you why they're doing it because for a long time it was just me with very little people. And I was covering mixed martial arts and boxing, and then I heard people criticize, and then boxing started, like idled and saturated just a little bit, and then they start trying to cover mixed martial arts. But it's not that easy. You have to really pay attention to what's going on with the sport and have followed the sport, and see the changes in the sport to be able to give the viewership a breakdown on what's going on. But kudos to those channels who are at least taking the effort to cover the sport. I just say like this, for a person who goes to the schools to learn and sit around and watch, you need to start getting in these schools so you can understand what's going on. And so when you talk about a UFC card, you talk about a Bellator card, you know what the fuck you're talking about. See, you just can't report on mixed martial arts like you do boxing. You can't do it. They're two different combat sports. So in order for you to improve your knowledge, you have to go to the school. Just like you have to go to the gyms for boxing, you have to go to these schools, enhance your knowledge, get the language down. You know what I'm saying? Get the terminology correct. So when you're actually looking at a fight card, you can understand what the fighters are doing, or potentially what they are trying to do. What they're doing and what they're trying to do. That makes it very exciting for the viewers. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell the viewers to come over here, make sure you tune in, whether it's a Bellator card, PFL, and then get familiar with the fighters. You got to get familiar with the fighters. But this is huge, man. Y'all continue to turn in. The UFC remaining 49.9% has been purchased. It's only going to get larger, and you all should pay attention to that shit. It's insane. Shout out to Dana White and the people for getting this shit done. What I want to talk about next is another, grand affair, in my opinion. You have Michael Chandler, right? You see Michael Chandler to the left. Look at what he's doing. He's basically doing a backflip layout. He's doing a backflip layout off the top of the cage. Now, there are only certain people that used to be able to do this back in the day. You had Eddie Alvarez, the Underground King. I'm talking about you had Michael Chandler, and also most notable Justin Gaethje. Now, I'm not a judge in gymnastics, but Michael Chandler is considered one of the premier mixed martial arts artists in the game. And a lot of people asking themselves, like, damn, who is this dude? Where the fuck he come from? All of a sudden we talk about Michael Chandler, man. Like, no one really knows this cat. But I'm about to give you a little bit more history on why is it special and what he's about to accomplish over here. It's pretty special. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. So let me share the screen right quick. I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna walk you through Michael Chandler. We were just chopping it up on his IG. He had a Q&A. Good dude, man. So let me share screen right quick, and I'm gonna take you through a little, verbal reflection once again on Michael Chandler, on his rise, and how big people are looking, how big he's become over a short period of time in the UFC. It's crazy. It is. It's big time. So this is Michael Chandler, right? He's 22-5. Once again, here go another mixed martial artist, 22-5, pretty damn experience. Losses don't mean anything. It's just who you lost to, right? So let's go back early on. This has been a Bellator fighter, legit Bellator fighter. I want you to look at his troubles to where is now on the highest level of the UFC. He faced Eddie Alvarez, another highly skilled veteran, y'all. Eddie Alvarez, the underground king, the one who has basically been at the top of the pinnacle in every organization. He's won a belt in every organization, Eddie Alvarez. He's really a legend in the sport of mixed martial arts. Michael Chandler went in here and faced Eddie Alvarez in Bellator. He was undefeated, y'all, undefeated. And he lost, split decision. This 2013. Look at, can you imagine? Look at this. Can you imagine losing this early in your boxing career? Then, look, 2013, 2014, he goes in there against Ill Will Brooks. He loses, split decision, 2014. This is back to back now. This is the guy who's about to get a title shot for the vacant title in his second UFC appearance now. He rematches. Look, a rematch. No different side of the street, none of that shit. They put him back in there again, 2014, to rematch Will Brooks because the cancellation of Eddie Alvarez. He stopped. Brooks stopped Michael Chandler in round 4. Stops him. Stops him, y'all. He goes on. Derek Campos, he gets that win in 2015. Another fight in 2015. I don't know if you remember. Once again, that's why the man cats to follow the sport. David Caveman Rickles. He was an awkward type of fighter. He came there with the Caveman Club and shit. He won. Punches round 2. Rickles had a respected record. Only 3 losses. You know what I'm saying? Boom. This is where it gets interesting. Michael Chandler, we talk about rivals all the time. We talk about DC and John Jones. We're talking about Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor potential. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then you run into these motherfucking these matchups where you say, "Oh man, those are good matchups. Those can be potential rivalries for a rematch and a trilogy." This was it. Patricky Pitbull. If you don't know who the Pitbull brothers are, look them up. Very dangerous individuals, very thorough, and can fight their ass off. In 2016, Michael Chandler fought the older brother. Patricky Pitbull is the older brother. He's the older brother of Patricio. Michael Chandler goes in here and stops Patricky in round 1, y'all. That's huge. With his brother in the corner. He stops him in round 1. He goes on to fight Benson Henderson. Benson Smooth Henderson. They used to be in the UFC and also a champion. He wins via split decision. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The people going to look at the L and all that. You got to watch the fight. Michael Chandler ended up with a foot injury. And he was still fighting, y'all. He didn't have any feeling in his damn left foot. The shit kept buckling on him. And he kept fighting. He was like, fuck. He kept fighting. And the referee, had to bring the doctor in there. They said, no, you can't continue. But Brent Primus ends up winning. Right? So we go on. Yamauchi, he defeated him. He go on. Brandon Gertz defeats him 2018. He rematches Brent Primus again. Check this out. He is the challenger for Bellator MMA Lightweight Championship. Now, this is what I wanted you to see. He's the challenger. Michael Chandler is the challenger for the Bellator Lightweight Championship, right? Let's go back down here. Champion. He lost his title for a foot injury. This is mixed martial arts. 1, 2, and back into the damn game once again. You know what I'm saying? He's back in the game once again. 1, 2, and they give him his motherfucking title shot again. He's the challenger this time. He gets the job done via unanimous decision. This is 2018, December 2018. He comes back in 2019, y'all, after getting his title back, and he faced the younger brother of Patricky Pitbull, Patricio. Patricio at the time is 28-4, y'all. Michael Chandler goes in there and gets stopped in the first round. I mean, the press conference, the promo leading up to this, they was talking shit. I mean, look, a lot of people believe that Michael Chandler is super cocky. He is super cocky. Like, if you watch his training videos, you can understand why he's extremely egotistical. You know, he believes in himself. He brags the fuck. I mean, like, this promo between him and Patricio was unbelievable. It was interesting. They was talking mad shit to one another. It was somewhat gave you that energy of Charlo and Harrison. He goes in there and knocks out Michael Chandler in round 1, just when he got his belt back. No easy touch, no tiptoeing around and shit. Michael Chandler goes in there and fight Patricio, the younger brother Patricky, and Patricky gets the win. So Michael Chandler goes in to stop Sidney Outlaw in the same year. 2019, same year, December, he stops him. He steps back in there for Benson Henderson again. This is pretty much get some get back. And Benson Henderson stays in the fight all the time. Very quality opponent, but he's been racking up his shares of losses. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's getting knocked out and all this other shit. He has been stopped a couple of times, but he's still a quality opponent. He goes in there and stops Benson Henderson in round 1. All right, check this out. This is lightweight, round 1. Benson Henderson, former UFC champion. Now let's go back to his loss to Patricky Pitbull. That was May of 2019. From May 2019 to January 2021, we're talking about going through a pandemic and shit like that. Really no big fights until the end of 2020. Check this out. One fight of a notable name. Sidney Outlaw is okay, but a notable name, Benson Henderson, in 2020, coming out the pandemic a little bit. And he fights early this year in January. But this is in the UFC, y'all. They bring Michael Chandler over to the UFC. Now, let me give you a little breakdown on how important this is. Justin Gaethje came from WSOF. He was undefeated. He came over here fighting some big names. He took on 2 big names, Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez. Back-to-back losses. He had his style of fighting. It was all gas, no break. And he ended up finding out there's different fighters over here in the UFC. So therefore, he had to work himself back over there. But he didn't get a title shot as quick as what I'm about to tell you about Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler comes in here taking in full notion that Ben Askren came over here also undefeated, fought Robbie Lawler, and then he went in there and lost to Jorge Masvidal. But who's to say he would have got a title shot? He didn't get a title shot in his second showing. Michael Chandler goes up against Dan Hooker. This is not any name. This is a guy who's highly ranked in the lightweight division of 155 pounds. He's ranked up there. So he faces Dan Hooker and finishing round 1. Okay. So let me stop sharing here. I want to take you to the other part that I want you to see. I want to take you through the ranking system on why this is crazy, man, and give you a little slight breakdown on the fast track of Michael Chandler. Key Miss said UFC is dominant. Boxing cards and platforms continue to disappoint us. Not as much from the fighter standpoint, mainly from the production and commentary. Mannix has proven on many occasions to be inept. Talk to him there, Mitch. Talk to him, man. And you know that's a lot. That's what's going on with people, man. They want to continue to just watch the same shit because they refuse to get interested in mixed martial arts for real. They just, I don't know, but I'm encouraging you all to understand what's going on in front of you. I'm taking you through the rankings right now. Hold on. All right. So the lightweight division is where we at. This is Michael Chandler. All right. This is Michael Chandler right here. This is lightweight division. For a long time, Khabib Nurmagomedov, for a good period of time, short period of time, he has ruled the lightweight division, and it's not more so the time frame for which he's ruled to be extensive, but the amount of opposition he's been able to defeat over a short period of time before his dad's passing away is the biggest part of his career right now. You know, a lot of people trying to say he the GOAT, and that's just not superseding what John Jones has been able to do in the UFC. I'm just being honest. But check out Michael Chandler. Let's look at some names right here. Dan Hooker currently sits in number 8. So Michael Chandler comes over here. His first fight is with Dan Hooker, who's in the top 10. Dan Hooker is fighting for his title shot, just like Justin Gaethje was, just like Dustin Poirier was, just like we thought Tony Ferguson would get. All right. So he gets a shot at Dan Hooker and stops him in one round with a right hand. Boom. Ground and pound, fight is over. So people are pretty upset talking about Chandler doesn't deserve a title shot. Let's look at the division. Khabib Nurmagomedov has chose to retire, and his belt is now vacant, right? Why is that the case? Okay. For quite some time, individuals thought that Tony Ferguson, who has a total of 5 cancellations, Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, through the time and history of them supposedly fighting the UFC, I think since 2015, they have had cancellations from 2015 all the way up to now, around 5 times, right? It was just an ominous type of matchup. Why could these guys not fight? So therefore, Tony Ferguson finally, you know, who was out there winning, he had to step in here with Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje, as I said earlier, he came over here from a neighboring organization, had some tough fights, took back-to-back losses. But of recent, he was able to step in there with Tony Ferguson. He put on a hell of a performance, which earned him a title shot at Khabib, in which Khabib subbed him out in the second round. Yes, Khabib Nurmagomedov subbed Justin Gaethje out in 2 rounds. All right, moving on. We all know Conor McGregor. At one point in time, he was a featherweight and a lightweight champion. He's currently competing in the lightweight division. Conor McGregor just came off a loss to Dustin Poirier. Now, Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor have both stepped in the ring with the retired Khabib Nurmagomedov. Stepped in the cage, rather. Okay, Conor McGregor was subbed out in the 4th round, and Dustin Poirier was subbed out in the 3rd. So what I'm doing is giving you a process of elimination as to why you don't see these guys stepping in here with Michael Chandler. Now, Tony Ferguson, they allow him to come off that Justin Gaethje beating that he took. This is what's the difference between, you know, mixed martial arts and boxing. First of all, they wear 4-ounce gloves, right? And of course, they're able to use a collective count of limbs that's not legal in the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? They have a collective count of knees, feet, elbows, you know, and your delivery is different from boxing. Boxers can't spin around and hit a fighter with a punch, but in mixed martial arts, they can, right? So therefore, you see fighters in mixed martial arts getting stopped, but yet Couple more fights, they back in the picture again. Tony Ferguson was one of these awkward ass fighters, man, that does all that spinning technique that was on a winning streak. And people was like looking at him as the boogeyman. And he's this dangerous guy. He stepped in there with Justin Gaethje, bro, and was stopped. So give or take, I'm thinking to myself, like, this dude is done. He's going to be out the sport for a while. They give him another fight with Oliveira. This is to put him back in the title picture. This is after Tony Ferguson was stopped by Justin Gaethje. So Charles Oliveira goes in there and has Tony Ferguson in a submission deep, a deep armbar. I'm about to get on Charles Oliveira. A deep armbar. And Tony would not tap, but he did lose via unanimous decision. That's a back-to-back loss now. He lost to Justin Gaethje. Now he lost to Charles Oliveira, who I have highlighted. This is all lightweight contention up to the title. This is what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? All these are quality opponents. I'm talking about quality. The depth is incredible. That's kind of separates the layer from mixed martial arts and boxing when it comes to the ranking system also. This is these are very quality opposition here. So now we get to Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira won a unanimous decision over Tony Ferguson, had him deep in the submission. One of his strengths is he is insanely good, insanely excellent with his grappling game. His BJJ is unbelievable, high level. If you watch the fight between him and Kevin Lee was having pretty good success on the feet with his hands. And then he wanted to go to wrestling. And you can only go to wrestling so many times before you slip up and make a mistake with Charles Oliveira. And he locked in a guillotine choke, and the rest is history. He got Kevin Lee up out of there. He almost had freaking Tony Ferguson out of there. So Charles Oliveira find himself getting into the title shot the hard way. Like Charles Oliveira, out of all these people, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor, no Charles Oliveira. You know what I'm saying? They was all close to fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov, who was out the sport now. Dan Hooker was making his way up there. All these guys was trying their best to get there. But Charles Oliveira, people was like, when is he going to get his shot? Now he gets his shot with number 4, Michael Chandler. Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. This is Michael Chandler's second UFC bout, y'all. He's going in there against a dangerous Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is going in there with a dangerous Michael Chandler. Now, skill for skill, which advantage does the other fighter have primarily? So if I had to tell you striking, I give the advantage to Michael Chandler. Wrestling, I give the advantage to Michael Chandler. All right. Secondary, if we're talking about A and B, I give the stand-up game to Oliveira, but he has pretty smart, clever IQ. You know what I'm saying? With mixed martial arts, you gotta commend the fighter for being able to strike with their hands to set up other things that they're trying to get to. And that's the beautiful part about Charles Oliveira. He can set up his striking to then blend in with what he's trying to do and getting the takedown. Michael Chandler, he's a wrestler. So when he goes in for the shot, that's coming sooner or later. The A side of Charles Oliveira's striking game is, going in and somehow, some way, locking up and getting a hold of one of your limbs. His BJJ game is high level. So this is what I mean by setting up to get a hold of you, get close to you, clinch. He will either one, be the aggressor to change levels and get in on Michael Chandler to try to take him down and work on his BJJ, his grappling, or he will allow you to fuck up And before you know it, you're fighting off a submission from Charles Oliveira. He pretty much said, pick your poison on how you want that. Michael Chandler understands that he's going in there with the guy who's very dangerous on the ground. But Michael Chandler, he's looking at it like, I'm dangerous too. My wrestling is dangerous too. If I get you on your back, I'm probably going to knock you out. Michael Chandler's going in there with that mentality like, man, my wrestling is just as high level as your grappling. Chandler is coming in here with the opportunity of being a former champion in Bellator and to become a champion over here in the UFC in just his second fight. Not every fighter gets this opportunity. This is going to be a damn good fight. Seriously, this is going to be a hell of a fight. Neither fighter, when it comes down to it, has a huge gap when it comes to the advantages and disadvantages. But cage IQ and experience for both fighters, we're going to see who's the smarter fighter on this night. Because Charles Oliveira is like the octopus, man. But Michael Chandler may potentially knock him out before he's even able to use that grappling ability. We'll see. We'll see if Charles Oliveira boxing is able to have success on the feet before this goes to the ground. Look, because I can guarantee you, if Michael Chandler is unsuccessful with landing some powerful strikes like he was able to do, execute on Dan Hooker and knock him out, he's going to be in trouble. I mean, Charles Oliveira has been stopped before. Michael Chandler has been stopped before. That's why I think this matchup, once again, kudos to the UFC matchmakers. This is why I think this fight right here is gonna be fantastic, man. This is gonna be a thrilling fight. This is gonna be for the title. This is gonna be for the title, man. Yes. This is going to be for the vacant lightweight title. And both of these guys can change their lives and also add to their mixed martial arts legacy by winning this belt, of course, especially Michael Chandler. But overall, Charles Oliveira, this is what he's been fighting for a long time. Chandler's already been champ. He's been champ in Bellator. So he has a lot of naysayers. He has a lot of motherfucking, people that don't think he can get it done, man, because a lot of people have came over here to the UFC from other organizations and they just don't get it done. They just don't have no success. So, you got Charles Oliveira fighting Michael Chandler in the 155-pound division for the vacated title. From the former champ, Khabib the Nurmagomedov. Now, whoever wins this fight, I'm thinking, once again, peep this out. Dustin Poirier and this guy right here, Conor McGregor, the former champ, featherweight and lightweight champ. Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier is headed to a trilogy. My assumption is the winner of Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and whoever wins, Conor McGregor, the winner of this fight right here will get the winner of Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler. Now, the big thing about this fight, it's going to do grand numbers. It's going to pique the interest of viewership, because both of these guys, believe it or not, is going to attract, the fanfare interest when it comes to mixed martial arts, because people know who they are. They know who Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler are. They definitely know who Conor McGregor is, and they definitely know who Dustin Poirier is. So it's a win-win situation moving forward for this lightweight title. That's what I like about, what the UFC does, the matchmakers. They keep that motherfucker shining. They keep the heat. They keep the temperature right with these matchups, man. They have a 15 fight card. Look, it's a 15 fights on the card, man. So keep your eyes tuned. You know what I'm saying? Michael Chandler, Charles Oliveira, and, they will become champion, lightweight champion. And then Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor I'm assuming the winner of this fight right here, being the Dustin Poirier just defeated Conor McGregor via knockout, they will have the opportunity to step in there with the champion, whoever wins between Oliveira and Chandler. All right? Sounds good? Cool. That's what's up. Joe Rogan has admitted to hyping fighters, but that's part of his job description. Mannix is just a fucking bum all around. I don't know what's worse, his commentary, interviews, or scorecards. One thing I found out, like I was close to being an MMA announcer in California for mixed martial arts, right? I was. I mean, they wanted me. They say, he's knowledgeable. He understands what the fighters, once again, I was going to the fights over there and everything. One thing I have to do, they was talking to me about is the fact that, you have to hype the fighters. You have to hype the fighters. You have to make it seem larger than life. So I'm not saying I agree with everything Joe Rogan does. I like Joe Rogan. Some of the shit he does is motherfucking implanted in a motherfucking planet we don't know exists. But then when it comes to Mannix is doing shit to keep his job. You know what I'm saying? He's a do boy. That's what we call him. He's a do boy. Mannix is a do boy. Just think about it. Some of these cats looking at the position that they hold on television. Some of these motherfuckers are narcissistic. They want to be on television, and in a indirect, sneakish, insidious type way, they make it about themselves. So Mannix probably say some fucked up shit so people can tune in and say that about him. In that world that they're in, and what you see Chris Mannix and Joe Rogan, when they have people speaking about them, that's good, actually. They're looking at it like, okay, cool. People paying attention to what you're saying. So that means the next time you come around, people are going to listen to what the fuck you're talking about. That's one of the pluses, believe it or not. They want you to have fanfare interest to keep the all around, viewership. Like, let's see what Joe Rogan's going to say. Let's see what Mannix going to say. Let's see what Daniel Cormier is going to say. DC. I'm talking about Dominique Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what Michael Bisping is going to say. Let's see what Paul Felder. They want you to hype up when you're supposed to hype up and talk shit when you're supposed to talk shit. And I think Mannix kind of has this motherfucking narcissism about him, where he says some shit that he knows that's truly off the wall, and he just can't wait to get to Twitter to see what the people are saying. I'm serious. These dudes got to fight for their job, especially what he's able to do. He got to fight for his job, man. But I totally get where you coming from, man. What's good? Salute. What's good with you? But that is hold up for a second. Okay. That's a big card that's coming up. Let me share this with you. Hold up. Do they have the card? Okay, cool. They have the card over here. So let me go back over here and share this. Nope, that's not it. Nope. Okay. So hold up for a second. Okay, right here. This is basically talking about UFC 262, which is coming up next month. It's a huge card, like I say. I just spoke about Oliveira versus Chandler. Lightweight championship. UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov, right here, officially relinquished the belt and ex-interim champ Dustin Poirier passed on a title shot, which made the surgeon Oliveira and Chandler the top choices. Now, the reason why I believe Dustin Poirier passed on a title shot is because, for one, he's probably going to make a pretty good amount of change fighting Conor McGregor a third time, because they're in a rubber match. The first time they fought, Dustin Poirier lost, and then he was able to avenge that several years up the road. So they're going to make that trilogy. So they can say he passed all he want, but I'm pretty sure that Dustin Poirier would have took that title shot, period. I mean, he would have took that damn shot. This is the fight card, the lineup for 262. Look who's back in the shoot, y'all. Nate Diaz, he's coming back after such a long, extensive layoff. And he does come back. I don't know, man. I'm a Diaz brother fan, him and his brother Nick. But, him coming back and taking that beating from Jorge Masvidal, I don't know what he has to offer for Leon Edwards. Leon is coming off a stoppage, against Muhammad Saeed, and I think it was a foul, him poking him in the eye. Now all of a sudden the matchmakers are showing us that they're bringing another damn matchup together to make this card work. We're talking about a fighter. Look, I'll get to it later, but we're talking about a fighter, Nate Diaz, who comes and goes as he please. He gets some big fights. He don't get big fights. His shining moment, real talk, in the last several years has been subbing out Conor McGregor at welterweight in the second round. You know what I'm saying? Nate Diaz actually subbed out Conor McGregor their first fight at a higher weight quicker than Khabib Nurmagomedov. He subbed him out, and then they had a rematch, and he lost. Hold on for a second. But a lot of people still, the remaining little sprinkle of fans he has, cheering him on. Nate Diaz bring that bad boy image. I'm pretty sure he's gonna do it to Leon Edwards too. Nate Diaz is an OG in the game. Like he's taken extensive punishment and kept fighting. He's tough as shit, bro. I don't see him beating Leon Edwards, to be honest. When I've counted Nate Diaz out, he had some pretty good fights. I don't see him beating Leon Edwards, though. I don't see it. Tony Ferguson. Like I told you on the other slideshow, right? Tony Ferguson lost to Justin Gaethje bad. I mean, Justin Gaethje put that damn boxing clinic on his ass. Looked great. Tony Ferguson healed up and returned to face Charles Oliveira, who I just told you is fighting in the main event against Michael Chandler. He went the distance. He was in deep on a submission. He didn't tap to freaking Oliveira, but he did lose. He's back. He's back, y'all, on the main card. Now, this is a televised card. Do you think this can still somehow pull the attention of the fight fans if it was boxing? For somebody who's had the two losses back to back and then coming back to TV to face Dariush, a tough opponent, on the main card televised. The man has back-to-back losses, man. One, he was stopped, and the other one, unanimous decision where he was in a bad place, damn near close to being submitted. But that's how the damn matchmaking work. I like it. I like seeing the fighters come back, man. You know what I'm saying? I like how they recycle them back into the lineup, and we get to see them attempt to get that win, because in mixed martial arts, styles definitely make fights, but it forces the fighter to take different approaches when it comes to, certain fighters who may be a threat on the ground. See, like Dariush, he's a threat in his grappling. Okay, he's high level grappler, and so is Tony Ferguson. So stylistically, both of these guys have respectable ground games, but it may come down to who has the better hands to work up to taking it to the ground. Because we all know fatigue will take a high level grappler and get them submitted. You know what I'm saying? We just seen Kamaru Usman defeat a former teammate of his, a multi-time BJJ world champion, and Gilbert Burns. He stopped him. And that is a high-level BJJ practitioner. Kamaru Usman is not known as a high-level BJJ anything. But when it comes down to takedown defense and hands, and then, punishing and degrading your opponent, it may set you up to put them in a position of submission. You know what I'm saying? But this is stylistically perfect. Perfect. Ronaldo Souza, still fighting. Muniz, he's going there against Andre Muniz, man. And it's always good to see Souza. I would have thought he is another BJJ world champion. I would have thought that he would just be focusing on his school right now, but this is mixed martial arts. And once again, Souza, who's had his ups and downs too, and the UFC, he's on the main card, televised. Oh man, it's crazy, bro. Look at Edson Barboza. Edson Barboza, man, one of the fastest spin kick. I mean, one of the fastest. When it comes to athletes being able to spinning heel kicks. Oh my God, this dude is lightning fast, man. Look, Edson Barboza is facing Shane Burgos. Shane Burgos really has to be smart. It's been moments that Shane just leave it all out there. Just get recklessly abandon, his game plan, and it ends up all wrong for him. Edson Barboza, if you look back to when he fought Khabib Nurmagomedov, he took a beating. But he proved something to me that day. Like, I thought when I seen him get stopped by Cowboy Cerrone back in the day, I was like, dang, Edson might be a little bit weak when it comes to, his mental blade. But Edson, man, he took a beating from Khabib. And he still went to the bell. I was saying, damn, I didn't know Edson Barboza was that fucking tough, man. The next fight, man, Jack Hermansson against Edmen Shahbazyan. That's going to be a solid fight. You have some solid fights up here. Katlyn Chookagian, Chookagian had her opportunity versus Valentina Shevchenko, came up short. You know what I'm saying? She's been also, they was thinking that she was going to be the next best. It was a lot of hype right behind Chookagian, and she couldn't get the shit done. So she's back on the scene. We'll see how that works. I don't know if y'all remember Matt Schnell, if you was around when he first was on the Ultimate Fighter. He's taking on Alex Perez. Matt Schnell, man, has come a long way. I mean, the backstory to this guy and everything. And there was a lot of promise in Matt Schnell, but his career just didn't take off after that Ultimate Fighter stint that he had, man. I'm not saying he just went down the drain, but he didn't excel like people thought he would. You know what I'm saying? Andrea Lee, the cowgirl herself, part of her game has been exposed a little bit, just like Michelle Waterson and the Paige Van Zants. She's still tough, though. She's going in there against the sister of Valentina Shevchenko. She's going in there against Antonina Shevchenko, the sister of Valentina Shevchenko, the current flyweight champion. That should be a good fight. Antonina. She's trying to get her own identity. Obviously, Valentina is much better. When it comes to the family DNA, she's a much better fighter. But both of them are tough, and it's gonna be a good scrap. Let me see if anybody else down here that's worth mentioning. I'm not going through all these names unless they. So these people, I'm just gonna leave them alone. But I just wanted to give you, kind of insight on the main card in this perspective. While I'm here, and I'm gonna close it out with this. John Jones tells UFC 8 to 10 million way too low for Francis Ngannou. And I agree with John Jones. Like, he's moving up. He's considered the GOAT. You still have him top pound for pound on the list, right? So when we look at our top pound for pound, right? Look at what Canelo Alvarez is doing. Look at what Manny Pacquiao is doing. Even though both of them in two different positions in combat sport, they still have a name and a brand, right? We're talking about 15, 20 million. John Jones is over there. Even though he's had his ups and downs and troubles in the UFC, the man is requesting more than 10 million. He still hasn't been defeated in the cage. It don't matter how many times he's suspended and what he popped for. There's plenty of fighters that you have these individuals who support them, praise them. They pop positive several times. They've been knocked out and all that. And they say, oh, they're doing great. Well, guess what? That's the attitude I got with John Jones. This is combat sports. It's not a perfect sport. The athletes aren't perfect. Him asking for 10 million or more, guess what? He should get it. He should get more than 10 million, 10 or more. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. And he basically said, if you don't want to give me the money, have Ngannou fight Derek Lewis. But the way the matchmakers are, right? You hear this a lot in boxing. Oh, he's going to get put on the shelf. He's going to get put on the shelf. John Jones in his career right now and who he is as a person and a fighter, being that he is a ticket seller, he's not going to be placed on the shelf like that. They're not going to blackball him for asking for more money. It's not going to happen. They're just, bringing a little bit of controversy to the situation. A lot of people want to see Jones and Ngannou, of course. People believe that Ngannou is the new becoming, another big black fighter coming in here with some power. And they feel, oh, man, what better fight to make is Ngannou and Jones. But you have another black fighter in Derek Lewis who has power. Derek Lewis is pretty much telling people, shit, I already fought Ngannou and I beat him. So for John Jones to say, put Derek Lewis back in there, he say, hey, you have to come back to me anyway. I'm not sweating it. So if you want to make the Ngannou Lewis fight, go ahead and do that. But the people really want to see Jones and Ngannou. That's what John Jones is telling you. They really want to see me. They want to see can Ngannou knock me out. Because I ain't never been beat. Never. But the UFC is going to do the right thing. If it comes immediate or it becomes in the near future, the matchmakers are going to do the right thing. He said John Jones has started negotiations with the UFC and hope that a deal can be brokered for a showdown with new heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. The longtime light heavyweight king took to Twitter on Wednesday to reveal details surrounding a recent conversation with the UFC executive vice president and chief business officer Hunter Campbell. And talks get underway for what could be a massive, that UK, massive. It's going to be a massive fight for the promotion. Jones go on to say, I had a brief phone meeting with the UFC lawyer Hunter a few days ago. Jones wrote on Twitter, as of right now, I expressed to him that anywhere around 8 to 10 million would be way too low for a fight of this magnitude. That's all that has been discussed so far. Do y'all think he's wrong? for demanding his worth? I don't. I'm supposed to be waiting for that. Their offer is going to be. Let me back that up. I'm supposed to be waiting for what their offer is going to be. Really hoping the numbers are nowhere near that low. I guess we will see what happens. And this is some of the tweets that he put out. I had a brief phone, what I just read. And what I just read also. That's not the tweets. It goes on to say, obviously, Jones isn't saying if that number he released at 8 to 10 million is base pay or more likely the amount of money he'll make after PPV sales are recouped. While pay disclosures are rarely public these days, the UFC has never never paid higher than 3 million, which is what Conor McGregor took home for his fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov back in 2018. Also, you have to factor in two people that Conor was coming back from fighting Floyd Mayweather with no belts. He never defended a single belt. So he had the superstar status, and then he's been out the sport for quite some time. He lost to Floyd, and he came back to face Khabib. That's him. He didn't have a belt at the time. Khabib had his belt. He had fought Alaquinta for the vacant lightweight title. It go on to say typical fighters receiving PPV revenue end up with the much higher paydays, depending on the overall sales for an event, which is how superstars like McGregor take home multi-millions for a fight, regardless of the pay. John Jones going to say, one thing I'm sure of, I never had more people excited to see a fight than they are now, Jones said. I literally can walk to my mailbox. I literally can't walk to my mailbox without someone asking me about the fight. Of course. This is huge, man. This is huge. It says Dana White, UFC President Dana White, has previously scoffed at Jones' demands. Of course. Look, claiming that the former light heavyweight champion was asking for Deontay Wilder money. Shout out to the bronze bomber, you know what I'm saying? After the boxer reportedly made around $30 million for his rematch against Tyson Fury in early 2020. Hey, man, get what you're worth, dog, because last time I checked, people was up there still hating. He said, I've been working my ass off for years. Concussions, surgeries, fighting the toughest competition the UFC had to offer throughout my 20s for right around $2 million per fight, Jones revealed. I'm just trying to have my payday. The fight that all of us fighters believe is one day possible. Going to say, I tweeted, look, I tweeted, show me the money, and that evidently pissed off the boss. What a learning lesson. I feel like if Conor would have sent that same tweet, there would have been whiskey night. I believe I was grossly underpaid throughout my entire 20s. I'm not even here bitching about that. I just want to see the future done right. Hey, man, give that man his money. Give John Jones the GOAT his money. Come on, man. Give that man his money, shawty. Stop playing around with my man Jones, Mitt say, not surprised motherfuckers shout to Nate Diaz. Yeah, not surprised, motherfuckers. Yeah, he went out there and subbed them out and said, I'm not surprised. You know what I'm saying? Joe Rogan say, you surprised at the outcome? He said, no, I'm not surprised. You know what I'm saying? My balls was hot. Lewis will take $5 million. Yeah. Lewis would take that little small money. Shit. Derek Lewis, man, I like the guy, man. He was helping people out during Hurricane Katrina. You know what I'm saying? He was helping them out. But for sure, I'm gonna keep it light today. I'll probably be back on later, but I'm gonna keep it light today because I got some shit to do. Real talk, I got some shit to do. But salute to everyone who tuned in. And once again, I don't care how many viewers don't tune in when it's Muddy Flax, the mixed martial arts. You will tune in, and If you want to listen to someone who actually can break your shit down and give you side by side comparisons or fight comparisons from history to the current, try tuning in to WCS. That's all I can tell you. And for the ones who dropped through, Mitch, always appreciate your support, my brother. Andrew, Aaron, Alexander. Salute to all y'all that pulled up today, man, to listen to this Muddy Flats edition of World Combat Sports. Until next time.